Good evening, coffee moaners.
Good evening, coffee moaners. We sometimes do this where we swap over to the evening. Round in our house today, my lovely Jordanian dad next door, our families, our friends, we are all outraged by the fact that Gaza is now being invaded by the IDF and their rather disparate army, by the sounds of it. They're very broken. So, yep, they are doing that with not a word about the fact that Hamas have agreed to the ceasefire. So we're going to be talking about that. And we really want you to have this as a place where you can also tell us how you feel about that. And the fact that so far we have not seen on online papers or on any of the shows that the Western media are covering the fact that the ceasefire deal hasn't been mentioned.
So there's the mainstream media totally conveniently silent about the fact that Hamas have agreed to the same ceasefire that Trump had proposed a few weeks ago. Israel have ignored it. We're going to talk about that as Israel begins its invasion of the outskirts of Gaza. We're also going to be talking about the fact that KNEECAP, Mo Chara, one of the singers, band members of KNEECAP, was in court today. And we're going to talk about the sensational outpouring of support around him appearing in court. And it was really a procedural day to discuss whether they could throw it out or whether it could be challenged. And so that decision isn't going to happen until September 26th. But he was there. We've got some clips with him talking. Just to forewarn you, we have also got a clip from Benjamin Netanyahu. I know everyone has to kind of gird their loins.
But we will again, just before we play it, we will give people the chance to put a blindfold and fingers in their ears because he is such a vomit-inducing human being.
We will give you enough time, a trigger warning, to nuke another country if you need to. Because that's kind of, comes with him. So we're going to be talking about that. And Netanyahu has also attacked STARMER. I mean, God forbid you attack STARMER. I mean,
we will want you to discuss how important, with everything that's going on in the world and the slaughter that is to come now in Gaza City, how the most important thing is that a pop band are in court today. They had to close the streets, the amount of support that they've had. So for those that are feeling low, and there's lots of people here and saying that they feel frightened about the world, we're also going to make you feel better about that, because solidarity and true human beings that cannot bear this injustice, those numbers are growing and growing and growing every day. And every single one of us has the power in some way to do something, whatever small or bigger way.
And Shirley, thank you. I was explaining to Nadia, because obviously we talk each other through some of the things that we're feeling most passionate about. Some of the clips that we've got here, we've got something from Ben Gavir that I know Nadia wanted to show.
And we will give a trigger warning because I can't bear that illegal settler.
But also, I do want to talk about Netanyahu's attack of Australia and the Prime Minister Albanese. And I have a really, really tight, articulate kickback from, I think, the Home Secretary or the Home Minister, Home Affairs Minister in Australia. So Australia has put its neck out on the line, and more than any other fucking Western country. And look what happens. Benjamin Netanyahu pushing that boot down.
And Smotrich showing off about 3,500 homes that are going to be built.
Well, that was the story that we were talking about last week. And isn't it interesting, when I uploaded that story, I did say at the time, this is going to become such a significant story. It didn't feel like it had the aspects of it that people would necessarily understand. It's so important.
So significant.
It's so significant. Also, what Nadia has just said is really important. Please subscribe. Please hit the notification bell. The reason being, there aren't enough safe spaces and places that most people can go to where you can hear someone vaguely confirming what you're feeling.
And by subscribing, you help push this video out more. They are desperate. Things are beyond desperate. The suffering is beyond anything you can imagine that is going on there. And of course, we know a lot more because of the charities we work with, beyond anything you can imagine. So even by hitting that subscribe button, you are helping, because you are getting more information out, bringing more people out to the marches, bringing out more people to stand up and say, not in our name. And that is so important.
And can I also just say, we are succeeding whenever we get a troll like the one we just got. If you subscribe, if you share, if you hit the notifications bell, if you keep telling people, it really pisses people like Burger King off. Nice one, Burger King. Hope you're well. Hope you enjoy your McDonald's later. So there we go. So, right. So the big news today is what's not being reported in the papers. And what's not being reported in the papers is that Israel have essentially, and the world's press have just gone, oh, did someone say something? Did someone say something about the ceasefire? It's like it hasn't happened.
But as we said on Friday, Martin, you've said a number of times, the negotiator, one of the Israeli negotiators for the hostages, who's been in on the ceasefire discussions multiple times, was furious, saying multiple times Netanyahu's got in the way. And they could have got those hostages back. And actually, we've got a genocide expert talking later on that.
So what Israel are really doing is they're just whistling. They're not saying anything. Donald Trump and America have said nothing. In fact, the only thing that Trump has said today about anything, I'm just going to pop up his quote. He said on a interview, Trump calls Netanyahu a war hero and adds, I guess I am too.
Because he added to that, because none of those hostages would have got out with me. You wouldn't believe the letters I've got.
I get letters every night.
You egomaniac, nutcase.
Absolute nut job.
I mean,
he's an absolute nut job.
The pair of them.
Yeah. I just want to read to you. So the most recent posts from Benjamin Netanyahu on his X account tell us everything we need to know. These have all happened in the last maximum, I think, 12 hours. This is Prime Minister Netanyahu. I congratulate US Secretary of State, Secretary Rubio, for deciding to impose sanctions on the judges of the International Court in The Hague. This is a firm measure against the mendacious smear campaign against the state of Israel and the IDF, and for truth and justice. Let's just pause.
Let's pause and let people say how they feel about that.
So he's congratulating someone on sanctioning an international criminal court.
Rubio, who is from an immigrant family and is driving the ICE situation in America, where people are being dragged out of their homes and thrown into alligator prisons and sent off to El Salvador. Shame on you.
So, so you've got such a fucked up sense of moral logic that we now have Netanyahu congratulating the leader of America, because whatever America says is, one of the leaders of America, because whatever America says is right.
Even though he's completely controlling America.
Aren't we in this? It's a really weird situation. I think you said it the other day about something else, which is, well, hang on a minute. Just because some fuckwit who happens to run America says something, why do we all have to doff our cap and go, oh?
But I just wondered how people felt about that, because here we are again, the imperialist world saying, oh, sorry, The Hague isn't meant for any of us.
No, of course it isn't.
It's only meant for the brown people.
Grace Ann Martin, oh my God, is that statement real? When you think things can't get worse, they do. I feel like I'm living in a parallel universe, says Tara B. Can't believe we can't stop what is happening. That is the part of it. The part of it is, what do we do?
No, but they are frightened. The world is frightened. Look at KNEECAP being taken to court today,
we'll get to that.
And all of that. No, we're going to get to that. But they are, the leaders of the world are very shaken by the fact that people are waking up.
I think Netanyahu doesn't seem shaken at all.
Netanyahu doesn't not shaken.
No, and neither does Trump. They're not shaken. America and Israel are in lockstep.
No, Trump's in a little bit of hot water himself.
Israel and America are tightly in lockstep. They're almost doing what's the name of the walk that they used to do in the
Frog March?
No, the stupid high kicking walk of the Second World War. Han H, I've had many arguments with my dad. He's not a supporter of Israel, but says, what can we do? My response was, if they'd had the current approach back in the 40s, we'd be speaking German. Yeah. A light bulb moment for him. Oh, did it? Did it?
Good was it a light bulb moment? That's good. You.
Look, people are allowed to have light bulb moments. I'm not being disrespectful to your dad, Han H. If you haven't had a light bulb fucking moment by now, I think it's very unlikely you're going to have one.
No, I don't think that's true. I do not agree. I think some people, if your algorithm is kittens and recipes, you will not have seen stuff. And the Western media has kept they're all complicit. They're complicit in it. They've kept a nice tight lid on the truth. So, no, I don't believe that.
Okay, a Canadian ICC judge says Kelly was sanctioned today, singled her out for being on a team of 5 investigating American soldiers' crimes in Afghanistan. She'll wear it as a badge of honor. I think what America has miscalculated here, and I am an enormous, or have been an enormous Americanophile. I love a Hollywood, I love cinema, I love the writing, I love America. I have loved America and Americans.
And Americans.
I am losing nothing from not going there, nor desiring to go.
Well, they've lost billions.
Yeah, no,
tourists.
but I think what they underestimate,
there.
but what they underestimate is a lot of people in the world don't give a flying monkey's jollop anymore. It's like, whatever, I don't want to fucking go there. What else have we got? Dragon.
I agree, Rich Thomas. I do think Trump is rattled. He's talking about fearing he won't go to heaven. And also, he's just done a whole load of bullshit about what he's going to achieve with Russia, and he's not going to achieve anything.
Yeah, but Putin's...
And soon he's going to have to stop backpedaling on that.
Don't worry about Ukraine and Putin. Sergei Lavrov's kicked into action. He's fucking making sure none of that shit happens. Dragon Lady, if the powers that be were even seriously interested, well, not even seriously, vaguely interested in arresting war criminal Netanyahu, they could have and would have by now. Well, I'm now going to move you on to the second tweet of the night, second X of the night from Netanyahu. The Prime Minister expresses his great appreciation, this was an hour ago, for the reservist fighters who have been mobilized and their families and all IDF soldiers. Together we will win. And this is chiming in with the idea that he said elsewhere that he wants to speed up and ramp up the timetable for the invasion of Gaza City and the mass evacuation of 1 million Palestinians. This is in a concentration camp. This is, guys, this is a declared ethnic cleansing. And I keep still reading reports by even some independent media outlets going, it's believed this could be in breach of international law.
Oh, for God's sake. Well, don't worry, we've got a genocide expert to put it all into.
But no one believes anything. We're seeing it, we're hearing it, we're smelling it, and we're feeling it. And the Palestinians are living it right now.
But I just wanted to pull up, Mark, the article from, was it The Independent that you sent me? So they have called upon their reservists. We now call on our heroic soldiers in the reserves, permanent and regular ranks to stand up
60,000
in order to bring about the release of the hostages, the subjugation of Hamas, and the end of the war on the terms set by Israel. I instruct you to use all tools and all power to strike the enemy until it is subdued. Remember, almost 7 Hiroshima bombs so far have been dropped. This is the supreme consideration. Anyone who has any complaints should contact me. It then goes on to say that this is from a mental health counsellor for the soldiers, told the Telegraph, these guys are exhausted. They can't fight anymore. They're broken. Many of those extending their service are already suffering from PTSD. Well, that's what will happen if you go around murdering people and torturing them with little time to recover, said the counsellor. So some have been sent to military prisons for refusing to return to the fighting. And some will be decent human beings that have been forced to be monsters within the IDF.
Yes.
And imagine how that is for your mental health, because not every single, if you're put into the IDF at 18, you haven't had much time to build your character and your personality.
Yeah.
That's how they keep it going. So they have a seemingly, who was it last week that we were talking about? The head chief of staff of the IDF, who said to Netanyahu, when Netanyahu explained his further plans, we can't do it. The army is broken. Our weaponry needs to be whatever they do, tarted up, and you put us all in danger.
No,
that's what he said.
Yeah.
That's the chief of staff of the IDF.
No. The chief of staff of the IDF basically admitted defeat. So I mean, it's why they went from a full occupation of the Gaza Strip to a concentrated occupation of Gaza City. So,
but Netanyahu is rabid. Smotrich is rabid, and nothing is going to stop them.
No, absolutely. Let's go. Should we wind ourselves up? I can't see Ronald. You keep saying Ronald, and I can't see a Ronald in the room. I keep scrolling up, and I can't see him. Ronald, make yourself known, mate. You're a pain in the arse, apparently. I literally can't see his name.
Just let him go.
Yeah, no, let him go. But okay, Ronald, maybe you could make sense of this for us. Here's another tweet or X from Benjamin Netanyahu. Ahead of approval of the plans for the operation in Gaza City, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has directed that the timetables for seizing control of the last terrorist strongholds and the defeat of Hamas be shortened. So basically, he's saying just get it done even quicker. This is against everything the ICJ has recommended. But of course, Israel operates and beats to its own drum. It's a very odd drum. It's a very arrhythmic drum. I'd love to challenge Netanyahu to a fucking dance-off, because I bet he couldn't move. He couldn't move. Oh, my God. I'm now going to play you Netanyahu. Okay? So I'm pre-warning everyone. Okay. So Netanyahu is very upset with Starmer. So he's telling Starmer off. He's told Australia off. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
They've had a slap for bad behaviour.
Yeah, slap in the face. And now he's telling. And
America just takes this all day long. And give us more money. Give us more money. Give us more money. Give us money. We want private. We want free healthcare for everyone. We want free schooling. And they get it all.
Now shaft us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get it all.
So here we go. Netanyahu. If terrorists butchered 15,000 in Britain, would Starmer reward them? Israeli Prime Minister accuses the UK of rewarding Hamas for October the 7th by recognizing a Palestinian state. Everyone, please be warned.
He's coming. He's going to speak.
Yeah, you ready? He's coming.
Greatest savagery against Jews since the Holocaust. And the Prime Minister of Britain says, we'll reward you with a de facto state, which is what? Which is committed openly to repeating the October 7th massacre over and over and over again.
So what else has he said? He's also said this. He said he's had a real go. He said, as you've just heard, he says, let's imagine what would be the response of Britain if 15,000 people would be butchered in a day and you'd have, I don't know, 2,500 hostages taken. Would you say, oh, well, we should give our attackers a state right next to London? The standard that is being applied is not merely wrong, he says, it's just downright dangerous because you're rewarding these monstrous terrorists with the greatest prize, and that's because of weakness. What he fails to add to his description there, or his hypothetical scenario for the UK, is 75 to 78 to 80 to 90 years of destruction of Arab people prior to
and apartheid, making them live in apartheid.
So what he's trying to do once again is quite cleverly, or it's not very clever at all, but he's trying to just circumnavigate all the really kind of unfortunate and difficult and sort of slightly contradictory details of Israel's role. It's like,
when the slaughter began 76 years ago, that's when or a bit longer than that, that's when the slaughter of the Palestinians began. And it has continued on right up and beyond October the 7th. But there is no acknowledgement of this at all. The fact that they have been living in an apartheid, they live in a completely, he doesn't even think they have.
It's just this.
Absolutely, they have completely different. There's 4 different stages to a passport, to a life, to the way you can live your life in Israel. You know, depending on your breed.
His hypothetical deserves a hypodermic needle in his face because it's pointless. It
doesn't mean that, by the way.
Doesn't mean anything. It doesn't make any sense. The man needs putting down because he's literally got a screw loose. He's got an absolute screw loose historically. He's trying to suggest that there's any kind of equivalence anywhere, and it completely ignores Israel's own contribution to the conflict and the occupation and the geographical political situation.
And if anybody wants to take that seriously when he said it,
what, the hypodermic?
Yeah, you're talking, although he needs to be put down. He's talking in big cartoon sweeps.
J.Y. Darvo, deny, attack, reverse, victim, and offender. A great acronym, one that we should use. If we are not careful, says Gabrielle K., if we are not careful, we will be the same as the USA re Israel. My MP went to a paid AIPAC convention in Washington, paid for by Labour Friends of Israel. Tom Jones in black. Israel needs to treat Palestinians with equal rights, not military law. It must stop.
99% success rate in Israeli courts when a Palestinian is taken to court. 99% of the time they are found guilty. But for thousands of Palestinians in the torture prisons, they're never even charged with anything.
Yeah.
They can just keep them there for as long as they like.
Dawny Harvey, the fact that you have to caveat everything now speaks volumes. What does it tell you?
Well, you do.
Yeah, what does it tell you? The other thing that I really, what was it? It's a conspiracy. It's the plan. People will live in fear and will be easier to control.
Yeah.
Labour Friends of Israel should be prescribed, not Palestine action. He is avoiding the eventual arrest
That was John
by
Wallace
invading Gaza. Missy, sorry, John Wallace. Yes, John, thank you. The problem with all of this is it's so spectacular. Someone else said, I'm just trying to find the comment that said, I don't think he is mad. I just think he's evil. And I have to say, I think he is. I mean, what does this term mean?
Of course, anyone that's running a genocide has to be evil, no?
Yes, but okay. So people have asked what can be done, and I do think your mother sent us both a WhatsApp message regarding a certain procedure or process. I can't go into the details of it, but there is a process by which the United Nations Security Council can overstep the fact that America keeps vetoing.
Oh yeah, I wish they fucking would do it then.
So, but that's what I said to your mum. I said, well, when can they do it? If they can do
it's
it, why don't they do it?
Every time that stops it.
No,
so what's
but
the
they
point?
can. But they can sidestep even the veto. So there is a mechanism. I'd have to look into it properly. There is a mechanism to go around this. The only way, and I've said this before, and this isn't about caveat. This isn't about invading Israel. This isn't about defeating Israel. But I think there needs to be some kind of military intervention from, whether it be Arab nations, the UN, Europe, what do they call it with the Ukraine? The Alliance of the Willing, or whatever it is. Fucking hell.
Just some protection for innocent people that are starving and being bombed and being shot at and being run over by tanks. I saw one today. They just driven over a person that's standing there. There's got to be some sort of intervention. I was listening to a doctor yesterday who was saying every time we try and bring in this specialist baby formula, because doctors are going back and forth from various countries on their holidays, using their holidays to go out, the baby formula is always taken off them by the IDF. Listen to this. So guess who they are killing in their dozens targeting? Wait for this. The fishermen. That's who they're targeting at the moment, the fishermen. I wonder why that is. So is there not a humanitarian caveat anywhere in all these big organizations that can break this siege and get into these desperate people?
I think what we need to do is we need to share and we need to spread. I'm going to really go through the process of what your mum sent through, actually, because I think it is about sharing and spreading the fact to everyone, Miss Anne, all the people who are activists.
And I know MPs don't answer you back, but it doesn't mean you don't.
And saying, look, if there are kind of weights and measures that can be moved around to do something, and I think you made a really valid point. When I talk about military interventions, I'm talking about a protective military intervention. I'm talking about self-defense. I'm talking about self-defense of the innocent Palestinians getting caught up in this. That's who needs defending. And
if there is a UN, if there is something,
there is a get around.
Then could it be a possibility that United Nations?
There is a get around. It's like your mum said, everyone needs to be spreading that around. Yeah. Hannah H, you were the one who made the comment, but you've clarified it a bit more. What I meant was, I think saying he's insane excuses the horror. I totally agree. Like he's ill, and not in his right, and in his right mind he wouldn't do it. I think he's sane, and it's purely evil as he makes it fully aware of what he's doing. And also, worse than that, he tries to turn the decisions or transform the decisions that Israel is making into a matter-of-fact, rational decision. It's like
and the messianic tone to everything.
It's like, how could we do anything other than what we're doing?
Come on, reasonable. This is a reasonable man.
Yes.
Talking to reasonable.
And he places both his hands on the table.
This is the Arabs. This is just Arabs. Big, like, that they're not even defined as Palestinians, just Arabs, all Arabs.
Do you remember when he said I totally, condemn this egregious, I thought he was going to say egregious starvation. He said egregious accusation that we've caused the stuff.
I know.
I mean, that's where he's fucked. I mean, when I say fucked in the head, he's fucked in the head in a kind of sane way. He's like, it's okay, they're just Arabs. I mean, basically, fundamentally, he's a sociopathic,
racist,
psychopathic, racist, white colonialist imperialist. And I think he's from Poland, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not even...
Did you see the plane today of all the Canadians and Americans arriving and kissing the land? On the plane, they were all given their IDs, free schooling, jobs, as they pushed the Palestinians down into
Can I just ask a really stupid question?
Right.
I want to ask a really stupid question. So most people in Gaza and the West Bank don't have a home because they're being taken by the Israeli settlers or they've been bombed into, So they don't have a home, but they've lived there for centuries. You've got people arriving on planes.
They've never been there before.
Yeah, you see, you've got people arriving on planes that have never been there before, that have already got homes abroad. So this is a second home.
And there's going to be thousands of homes built on the area that the Palestinian lived, that they've bombed to smithereens.
Right.
And so on the top of that rubble and on the top of those bones, they will build homes for people that have not been to Israel before. But
this is that's how it's going to work. Just to make this really manageable, and I would like someone to subclip this and spread it around, just to make this really manageable for people who haven't got the bandwidth for it. It's not local. This is like someone buying a second home in Cornwall for these people.
Well,
because they're not coming from a war zone, are they?
No, they're not coming from a war zone.
They're coming
America, home
Canada.
From 3,000 years ago. So it was home 3,000 years ago.
Bit of a problem there.
What?
Where their first homes are in Canada and America, 3,000 years ago, there were native indigenous people. So are they entitled to take their homes?
Well, maybe that's what's happened. Maybe the native indigenous people have taken their homes.
Okay. So if we wanted to stick with Israel's biblical, calling of the land, every single indigenous person on the planet has a right to burn, pillage, and throw people out of their homes, or is it only Israelis?
I do believe that. Look at America.
Is there anywhere else?
Look at America. People are being thrown out of America because they don't want any immigrants. But
even if you're
the indigenous people in America,
and even if you're wanted a paedophile, you can get sent back to Israel without charge.
Yes, no, because he worked for the government, that's fine. That's a different thing. That's allowed.
But he's not charged.
No, he was charged. He was charged in America.
Yeah, charged, but he was allowed to go back to Israel
straight away.
So basically, a lot of people landing in Israel have got this is a lifestyle choice. Could you say that?
Well, I suppose so. I suppose they've thought, yes, let's go to Israel because we're offered a free house, we're offered work, free education, free healthcare.
Just clarifying this.
Which you definitely don't get in America.
And
I think that's partly to do with so much money from America goes straight to Israel. So the Americans are not getting anything like.
And those people coming down the stairs aren't coming from a war-torn, war-ravaged, asylum-seeking scenario. No. Like so many other
they've got homes
people of color
in Canada. I think these were Canadians.
Just clarifying, because it strikes me as
it's just
weird.
Confusing.
It's unbelievable.
It's
unbelievable.
Confusing.
Really, isn't it? It's quite
I suppose we can keep working on it. We'll keep trying to work it out.
Second homes, my God, it's just bizarre. I just want to play. Should we play this incredible Holocaust historian?
Yes.
I think this guy, let's have some academic, calm analysis. This guy, let me just read to you who he is so that we get his name absolutely right.
My mum was from Southend, so should I march into her childhood home and say, oi, I'm coming home?
Well, I've said it before, the Romans made the road to Bath, and they were here, thousands of years ago. So presumably they could claim they could have Bath and London. Londinium.
I don't know. I suppose we'd have to ask America first.
You see, you can't.
We'd have to ask America first.
You can't go.
We'd have to ask America first.
This is the problem with the.
Via America.
Let me just explain you. The Bible isn't a land deed.
No.
But that's how it's being treated. Okay, this is a clip we're going to show you by, which is an interview with, or a statement by Omer Bartov. He is a professor of Holocaust. He knows the subject. He's a professor of Holocaust and Genocide Studies at Brown University. Okay, where is Brown University? Is it America or Israel?
America,
I don't know. Okay, so listen to this.
He was not actually trying to destroy Hamas and free the hostages. What he was trying to do was to make Gaza uninhabitable for its population. There were also statements by the Minister of Defense that a so-called humanitarian city to be built over the ruins of Rafah and to move about 600,000 people to that city, which was in fact planned as a vast concentration camp. People could come in but would not be able to leave. What is being caused to Palestinians in Gaza right now appears quite similar to, say, the situation in ghettos in 1940, before the final solution began. I was shocked by the complete lack of empathy by people in Israel toward what was being done in their name, often by their sons and daughters in Gaza. My name is Omer Bartov. I'm a professor of Holocaust and Genocide Studies at Brown University, and I've been working and writing on war crimes, total war, genocide, the Holocaust, and most recently Israel-Palestine since the 1980s. I concluded that Israel's campaign in Gaza was genocidal in May of 2024. I wrote about it in August of that year in The Guardian, and then I most recently elaborated that view in the New York Times in mid-July of 25. My view has become that the war goals that Israel declared, which were to destroy Hamas and to free the hostages, by the spring of 2024 turned out not to be the actual war goals. The IDF was not actually trying to destroy Hamas and free the hostages. What it was trying to do was to make Gaza uninhabitable for its population. And in the course of that, it was systematically destroying houses, public buildings, universities, schools, mosques, museums, so hospitals, of course. So any places that could make for the existence of a group, for its health, for its education, for its collective memory. And the tactic of telling people to leave a particular area for their own safety and move to a safe zone turned out to be a way of then destroying the places that they left and then threatening that safe zone and attacking these safe zones and then moving the population once more. In May of 2024, there were about 1 million Palestinians in the city of Rafah, so about 4 times as many as had lived there before the war. Most of them were internally displaced. They were displaced from other places by orders of the IDF. And then the IDF ordered them to move again to the Mawasi area, to the beach area along the Gaza Strip, in the southern tip of the Gaza Strip, and then destroyed Rafah altogether. So that indicated to me.
So there's I just want to say, follow Middle East Eye on Instagram, but also I think they have done a number of interviews with different genocide experts. So that's just an excerpt of it. They've done really good work with these interviews.
I think he made a really interesting point there, that what they, this idea, this spurious, fictional, totally gaslit, lie of we are, how Netanyahu trots out, we are so humanitarian, we give warnings.
We're the most moral army in the world.
Moral, insofar as you say to people, leave your home because you might get hurt.
But they give them 30 minutes.
But then when they've gone, you destroy their home.
I saw a man and his wife
the other day, to live for.
And he shows we just got given 30 minutes again. Right, little tiny toddler. She was about 2.5, and they're saying to her, "Run!" They've got half an hour. No idea where they're going, and only what they could put in black bin liners. And the middle of the night. And this was the 6th or 7th time that they'd been displaced.
Charlene Evans, they recognize the Bible, but not what happened 75 years ago.
Yeah,
because yes,
very good point.
I mean, someone made a really interesting point there about the Torah, which claims, I mean, we are no expert, but Shilley, I think it was Shilley who said, in the Torah, it declares that the Jewish, it's not about having a country or a land. That's actually not, that is the Zionist specifically Zionist kind of deal. I just want to quote Philip Roth, who was one of the most successful American authors, modern authors. He was Jewish. He was a New Yorker, and he always said, remember years ago, we often kind of would trot it out, and prior to this particular devastating, well, it hasn't been one as devastating as this. This is becoming more devastating than the original Nakba.
But remember, they said it. We will make this so much worse than the first Nakba. They were dancing, Smotrich and Ben Gvir and all their friends. They were clapping hands and dancing, saying how much worse it was going to be. Helena
B,
us everything.
Can you just check this? Helena B says declassified have just released that STARMER was given 50,000, Lamy 35,000, and 2 others given thousands by a Jewish man. That story has been on declassified for quite a while. Is that a new story, Helena B? Just need to confirm that, because yes, the government have been paid in kind by the Israeli lobby group. But just the quote from Philip Roth was this. He said, all this talk of Jewish people needing their own state, they already have one in New York.
Oh, yeah.
Very powerful. And what he was trying to say as a New York Jew, what is this about? When you see them selling off, portioning off Gaza, selling it at kind of what they called auctions in Brooklyn. You begin to think, actually, this is not entirely dissimilar to the upset and distress that is caused to places like Wales and Cornwall, but on a much more extreme level, where it is there is an element here of a lifestyle choice.
Oh, of course, it's a lifestyle choice.
And that's very different to the original situation, which was a complicated one, but wasn't the Palestinians' fault.
No.
When Israel was created and the Jewish people were put there because Europe had the guilt of the awfulness of World War II.
The horror of the Holocaust.
They wanted to do something. They wanted to do something to make good.
Guess who had nothing to do with the fucking
Holocaust? But the Palestinians didn't do it.
The Palestinians had nothing to do with the Holocaust. It was the Europeans. And they're still paying the price. It's just so upside down.
It's staggering.
I can't fathom it.
Oh, staggering. Okay, so the other headlines: Israel approves Gaza City invasion. Israel expands Gaza City offensive as UK decries West Bank settlement approval. This is the story that I did last week. I pulled this story for tonight, Nadia, because Nadia's father is from Jordan. Nadia's half Jordanian. Jordan's foreign minister said on Wednesday that Israel's assault on Gaza had caused massacres and starvation, and that its wider actions were killing all prospects for peace in the Middle East. I just wanted to read this bit. Ayman Safadi, which is the Jordan foreign minister, made his remarks, interesting this, during a visit to Moscow. And I've said for a long time...
On the same day that the Israeli defense minister...
discussed their plan.
But
the reason I think it's interesting that Jordan's foreign minister is in Moscow, I've said for a long time, there may come a point, and I would not blame them, where some of the Arab nations who feel caught in this headlock by America, where there's little return or reward for them, a boot is kept on their neck, because really Jordan is treated like a slightly higher level Palestinian servant. They're kept in check. They're compromised, they're bullied, and they're basically, prevented from being able to make any of their own choices by America.
Bribed by America's millions.
And I've said this months ago, wait for when Jordan and these countries start to reach to China and Russia.
Well, it's right from the beginning, when Trump came in and just destroyed all any kind of diplomatic ties, closing down embassies. What's going to happen other than other actors come into play? China, Russia, they all have very, 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 very clever leaders, very educated, very smart, unlike Trump. Of course they're going to come in and go, that's not fair. Let me help you out.
Alison Barber says they've just introduced conscription again in Jordan.
Oh, no, they haven't.
Does that mean all your cousins will?
Well,
no, they're of army age. Yeah, conscription. Let me just say the other headlines. We're going to move on to KNEECAP quickly, but this is a really important story. Microsoft workers occupy HQ in protest in America against companies' ties to Israeli military.
Been going on for a while.
They're making it public. Netanyahu, we've talked about all of that. Okay. let's go to, this is footage. This is the BBC's coverage around, is it Mo Farah or Mo Farah? How do you pronounce it? Is it Mo Farah?
Is anyone Irish here?
Phonetically?
I can't remember. We did find
this is obviously terror charges against kneecap rapper in court today in Westminster. The court heard from his team that the charges should be thrown out. They say that what he held wasn't even a flag. It was a kind of badly made piece of kind
Somebody
of art.
threw it onto the stage, didn't they?
And he didn't know what he picked up. That's what he's saying. Yeah. So prosecutors allege that he displayed a flag in support of the proscribed terror organization Hezbollah at a gig in the O2 in Kentish Town. During the hearing on Wednesday, his defense team argued the case should be thrown out, citing a technical error in the way the charge against him was brought. What was most notable about this was the fact.
Stop showing his
sorry, I had his face up. God, it's like the child catcher from Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, isn't it?
Without trigger warnings.
Yeah, sorry, guys. What was most notable, I think, was the outpouring of support and the size of support. And I think this clip that Nadia found of the BBC reporting.
Kara.
Is it Kara? Pronounced Kara. Thank you, Mo Farah. Okay, let's listen to this report by the BBC.
I have never seen anything quite like it, Anita. There are hundreds of people still outside Westminster Magistrates Court. And of course, this court is used for lots of high-profile cases. But I've just never seen the number of people before. In fact, they had to close the road, one of the main roads outside the court in London earlier on today because of the sheer number of people. There were cheers as Liam O'Gohani went into court alongside his band members. During the court hearing, my colleagues tell me that there was music, there was drumming, people have had flags, people have had banners. And then when Liam O'Gohani came outside of court, there was huge cheers again. And he's been speaking on one of the stages behind me. It's not like any court case I've been to before.
And Charlotte, I understand that for legal reasons you can't report absolutely everything that happened inside the court, but what can you tell us about the proceedings?
Well, very different inside the court, as you'd imagine, very sedate, around 3 hours of legal arguments and discussions over the timing of the charge. So when Liam O'Gohani was charged with this offence in May, was it too late? Was it within a 6-month period when he was charged? So the discussions revolved around that. The judge said he wasn't going to make a decision today. He will be back in court along with Liam O'Gohani on the 26th of September, as you said, where he will issue his ruling on that. And we can probably expect a similar number of people outside court on that day as well, Anita.
And The Guardian has a brief soundbite from him as he came out of court.
Obviously, it's great to see the support out here. We know this story is more than just about me. It's more than KNEECAP. This is a story about Palestine and us as a distraction from the real story. We know, unfortunately, this story will end up in the media today while Israel commits genocide at the same time. So everybody, continue to speak about Palestine. Free Palestine. Thank you all for coming.
Now, I just want to say, Nadia, you've ruffled a few feathers with your feelings about kneecap.
Have I?
Yeah, just a few.
Oh.
Yeah, in certain quarters.
Well, you know, the thing is,
I think it's sensationally wonderful, the support that they're getting.
You know, and the thing is, they just cannot put a foot right, can they, the government? I mean, they really can't. Why are they so frightened of kneecap?
Because they might get kneecapped?
You know. What are they so frightened of? It's ridiculous. And what they are doing is they are creating icons.
They really are. Because
you are not reading the room, governments across the world. The people know what is going on. We are awake. We are awake to the lies and the deceit and the manipulation of the truth. And you want to pick on a band because I don't believe this was just I'm sorry, in my opinion, I think they're late to charge them. I think this came around the back door because they want them to shut up. And it's so intrinsically entwined with the way
what do you mean?
The way that the Irish are. Well, I didn't realize that it was that. I feel like no, but I mean, who made this complaint about them in the first place?
What I can't understand.
I don't understand why they were charged with something. He picks up a flag off the stage and waves it.
Yeah, and
do you not think that this was? Well, I'm not going to say anymore.
Oh, I
because
see what you mean. From the usual.
I'm trying to pick up, say it without saying.
No. I thought what you were trying to suggest was that the fact that what his defence are saying is that there is some kind of legal technicality around when this was brought, not who brought it, but when it was brought. And
but who caught up to it 6 months later and said?
Well, we know. I think we know exactly.
That's what I was
but
trying to say.
But I think but hang on, no. And that thought has given me this thought. Could this technicality that his defence team are promoting, if I was the government and I wanted to no longer make a martyr for the cause, create great popularity for them, be a rallying call for those who feel that everyone's being silenced and muffled and disallowed to protest, I would find a procedural way in which to go, yeah, you're right, we can't bring charges.
Because they want to back out of it now, because it's run away from
I think the government wants to back out of it, but I think you're absolutely right. We know who all the usual suspects are, the lobby groups, etc., and those that get all those documentaries pulled down and people like Gary Lineker fired. It's those people. Those people are the ones that
always like everyone has to tiptoe.
They don't look at anything Netanyahu does.
No, nothing is ever said about him, but everyone has to tiptoe because they're always looking for something. That's why I say things like, obviously he's joking when he says about the hypodermic needle, because, like jokes have got people, are getting people joking. Because when people talk about free speech, the people that shout about it the loudest are always the ones that actually want to control speech like no one else, because it can only be their free speech. But so I think that it has been a massive own goal, this, because what it has done is galvanized the youth, because the wool is not being pulled over people's eyes. It's like, what are you doing? We're looking at this. We wake up in the morning and it's on our phone. We can see it. Just before I went live here, I saw 3 children on one bed, no mattress, legs ripped to pieces. You can't do this. You're not going to, because we have more now than the BBC to tell us exactly what's going on. It's the BBC giving all the truth. That young people, not just young people right across the board are just going, come on, we're not fucking stupid. We can see what you're doing.
Yes.
And I think the fact that they're Irish, we are
such a
like
double
that,
such a double sucker punch. It's brilliant.
Their story is so similar to the story of the Palestinians, so they feel it.
I love that the Irish are a thorn in the side of this establishment.
The establishment have always wanted to put their foot on their neck.
Yes.
So,
So just finally, because I promised we would, I want to quickly just talk about the Australians and Australia. Benjamin Netanyahu, in his splenetic fury.
Splenetic, what a great word.
Israel's prime minister has accused his Australian counterpart, Albanese, of betraying Israel and abandoning Australia's Jewish community after days of growing strain between the two countries. Now, he's attacking Albanese for the same reasons that he's attacking Starmer, because, of course, these countries are saying we're going to recognize a Palestinian state. Netanyahu also says that he has, as I think I just said, betrayed Australian Jews. In a real ratchet, and diplomatically, this is a big deal for anyone who's from Australia. This is a massive.
For every Jew in the world.
He speaks for nobody.
I mean, the Jewish people across the world that are standing up against this are phenomenal voices in the movement for peace, and it enrages them, doesn't it?
Utterly.
When he seems that he can speak for every Jewish person.
And he completely sort of slags Albanese off, the Australian government off, and says it's a weak government, you've got weak politicians, and this is an Australian MP who kicks back against
is not measured by how many people you can blow up or how many children you can leave hungry.
Oh, wow.
Strength is much better measured by exactly what Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has done, which is when there's a decision that we know Israel won't like, he goes straight to Benjamin Netanyahu. He has the conversation, he says exactly what we're intending to do, and has the chance for the objections to be made person to person. And then, having heard them, makes a public announcement and does what needs to be done.
Nice.
Love it.
Strength is not killing children.
Wow.
You psychopathic villain, Netanyahu.
Wow.
It's a nice answer.
No night, Zoe.
Yeah, nice answer. All right, guys. Well, there we go.
Us too. We're exhausted.
Yeah, we're done.
Thank
Thank you for all your comments.
you so
John Wallace,
much.
let me just read your comment. I'm proud to be Irish too, but our government has done practically nothing. They make mealy-mouthed statements, but take no practical action.
It's the people,
They actually
isn't it?
stifle action. They are failing us. I mean, I know Ireland, though. I mean, Trump is seriously threatening Ireland with some serious
but there's some
economic shit.
serious stuff going on financially with Israel and Ireland. That is
Yeah,
like, oh my God, don't do that, guys.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Anyway,
That's governments for you, innit?
so guys, keep the conversation going.
Yeah,
and
like we say, please subscribe so these
John.
can be passed out to more people, or
Yes.
share, take our content. We don't care, and just get the message out. And thank you so much for being here with us. We feel a bit better. We know that we have to deal with a certain amount of powerlessness, all of us. But where we do think we have some power in whatever tiny way, like me when I share something really powerful on Instagram, or I go to a march, or even when we cook something Palestinian, Dina and I, or when we're doing the show, or when I'm sharing something with my dad, there's all those little ways. I mean, yes, it's nothing huge, but we all have to feel like we're doing something, because to do nothing, to say nothing at this point is not good for anyone's soul. It's not good for your soul.
And Annie Lennox is sharing the fact that there is a global financial strike tomorrow. Try not to spend what you would normally spend on anything. Obviously, that doesn't mean, if it's critical life,
But if you can manage to not spend tomorrow, so there's a little bit of a
jolt financially across the globe.
It really would be amazing if people really pull together to do that.
But guys, yeah, absolutely. And in liking and subscribing and sharing, you really piss off those people who get things pulled down and people like Gary Lineker fired. You really do. It annoys all of the trolls and all the bots and all that. Their algorithm fucked up. So that's good.
We love you lots.
Yeah,
everybody.
thanks, guys.
And we'll see you at 10 o'clock tomorrow morning.
See you in the morrow. Take care, guys.
Bye.
Bye.